Carl and Dan here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for sure. And it is track by track. Do not adjust your television sets. Yes, that's not Lou, that is Brendan. Welcome, Dan, to making his debut in the track by track series. It figured it was time to branch out and separate into another area. And hell, this is an opportunity for me as the father to force albums often on Dan. One like, hey, this is the track by track we're going to do, and you've got to listen to that album and come up with some notes, and vice versa. If there's stuff I've missed, or just share our general opinions about a specific album, exactly in the same format we always do, track by tracks, track by bloody track. Start ourselves off easy. I wanted to ease us into this, so I went to a band that, okay, so me and Dan share a lot of similar tastes. Of course we do, absolutely we do, but I don't think there are loads of bands that we share that we can both equally say, yeah, we both love this band. E.g., there'll be lots of bands that Dan likes or loves that I like, and I'm like, yeah, they're a good band or whatever, and vice versa. Lots of bands that I might love but Dan will just like or think, yeah, they're okay. I think in this case, at least as far as I remember, unless something's changed in the last couple of months, this is a band we both love, and it is, of course, Hellions. Dan, am I still right? You love this band?
I think they've definitely fallen off a bit for me because they haven't released anything in like 4 years. So there's only so much I can do. Obviously, this album was massive, though. I still have a lot of love for this album specifically.
Yeah. Even though this would, of course, be followed up with Rue, this I still think this is the stronger album, Opera Oblivia.
Yeah, definitely.
Going to be doing overall, it's just a much stronger piece, but it is also filled with some absolute bangers. Weirdly enough, though, it doesn't hold my favorite Hellion song. That was the album that follows this, but like there are as many on this. That was the first sort of inclination, the first songs I heard that went, shit, I really like this band.
Yeah. I get what you mean. Yeah.
We are going to get into it. Going to go track by track, starting off then with some details. It is, of course, the third album by the Australian punk band Hellions, released on July 29th, 2016 by UNFD. So fairly modern stuff here.
6 years ago now.
Yeah, that does age it a bit as well. Yeah, it does. But 6 years in this, I mean, 3 of them have been COVID. So yeah, it's not too long.
Yeah.
We kick off with 24. Some starry melody gets this one started quite nicely, kicking into a nice rock groove with the catchy as fuck rhythms. The vocals have that delightfully raw flavor that I do love, but it's also a track with some classy singing. The gang vocals are excellent, really enhancing the DIY feel that I think this track has, especially when they go alone at the end of this track. We were born on that what part? It's a generally brilliant opening track that I'd kind of forgotten, because when I go to this album, Opera Oblivia, I tend to just pick out a couple and listen to those ones over again. I kind of forgot tracks like 24 exist, and it's a banging start for me.
Yeah, same. I really like the play with the lyrics and the message behind it, of course.
Yeah.
I can only describe it like it sounds like 2016. It sounds like that time period. And I was just listening to it like, wow, yeah, it does. It really does. And when it gets into that big bridge, it really picks up for me as a song. And it's like one of my favorites on the album.
Yeah, it's up there for me as well. It really is, which was a nice surprise when you listen to the full thing. It's followed then by Quality of Life. I'm a big fan of the kind of heavier edge this track has. The riffs are chunky, and it's almost a little, just a touch bit more metalcore-esque. But that chorus is on another level. Just try and not sing along to that, which is crazy, as it's a track that is Hellions really going hard and heavier while just being really stupidly catchy.
Yeah, I kind of put the same thing. I went almost a beatdown track in the world of Hellions.
Yeah.
Out of their recent work is one of the heaviest of they've written. Because if you go back down their discography, they're like almost a hardcore band at times. And I really enjoy it. I think for me, though, personally, in the album, it's a bit of a skip for me. just because I think if I'm coming to Hellions, I'm not really coming for that sort of thing.
That is a very strong point. That's a really good point. Coming for Hellions, you're not coming for this. And I think you're absolutely right. Because I think that's really important when I'm listening back to this album. So like I tend to listen to the last two albums, the last two albums Hellions does, Opera Oblivia and Root. And these are the two I focus on more than anything else. And I tend to then select and pick tracks from them that are my favorite. And Quality of Life wouldn't be one of them I'd normally go to. This next one would be. It is Thresher. Basically, this is the song that turned me into a fan. And I still love it. The opening melody that kicks into that foot tapping and head banging rhythm, the subtle pullback and laid back vocals, the build to the chorus is phenomenal, as is the actual chorus. The enough, I'm screaming part and following use of a piano just makes me want to almost cry with happiness. I adore this track. I still think it's a fucking banger.
Yeah, I put one of my favorite tracks on the album due to its chorus. It's really, really catchy and it does the job. I think that like the placement in the album, really like the big ending for it as well. The message behind the lyrics is really cool as well because I totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Hellions, I don't want to say don't get enough credit because I think amongst the fan base they probably do, but it certainly deserves to be seen as lyricists. Some very, very strong stuff. And there's a reason why I call Smile, the song that comes later in a different album, what my favorite Hellions song ever. And it's as much because of the lyrical content of that and the meaning behind it. I think it's really important as well with tracks like say Thresher to really listen and go read as well and follow along that way. Thanks to the vocal style, it's actually often very clear and you're not struggling going, what was he saying or what was being sung here? You kind of can follow along, such as the innate catchiness of the music. Thresher, our recommendation, I think, to go, if you need one track you need to go just check out of this album, probably start with that one.
Yeah.
But there's plenty more to come. Lotus Eater is up next. Some powerful group singing here. This one has a darker vibe and leans into the Spitfire rap style in the verses. The chorus, again, is particularly notable. This is not my favorite, but again, it's kind of like where I'm like, no, it's because there's better tracks. This is just a really good track. I like the darker underbelly, especially when you unleash that bit of melody and utilize a violin to add some emotional edge to this track.
Yeah, this is like my second favorite track on the album.
Oh.
I really, really enjoy it. I think it really, really plays into the kind of Cirque du Soleil album art and the sound and the kind of stage of the visual style. It really comes together. I like the super fast vocal takes. Absolutely, like he's like spitting bars, you know, they're like little daggers. I think the backing chorus with the gang like underneath his kind of ferocity with the vocals, a really nice layer. And also I play a VR game called Beat Saber and somebody made a level for this song.
Did they really?
I play it all the time. Yeah, and it's a really good level. So I've learned the song off by heart.
I'll have to check that out. It's amazing. I didn't know that. That's incredible. Yeah, Beat Saber. That's fun. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting already to have that contrast of view in it because I don't think I love it quite as much as you do. But that's the point of this, really. Then we get He Without Sin, 1, Halutation. The melody at the start is pure tear-jerking stuff, also slightly cinematic sounding. It explodes into life and we really get a ferocious vocal performance. It's odd, though, as it's really heavy vocally, but there's a ton of melody too. This is one of the more disjointed sounding efforts, but I really like it. It sounds really real.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I think it's one of the best Hellion songs in terms of lyrical content, the message behind it, and the chorus. Something that Hellion seem to do really, really well is that big gang vocal choruses. it slows down. It goes like half time in comparison with the rest of the song, and I think it's great.
Yeah, and they're saying no more than that. Sometimes it's as simple as saying that it's just a great bloody track. Yeah, I think it's a really strong track too. And it's paired with He Without Sin 2 Heals, but this is a little different. And this is where I kind of go back to the real thing, because talking of real, this is a little over a minute of dark melody and voice recordings talking about difficult and honest events. Simple as that.
Yeah, I said I always love a reprisal.
Yeah.
Especially of like melodies and kind of if they go hand in hand with another song in an album. Love it. And the vocal messages from each person coming forward about the story really rounds off the first track nicely.
Yeah.
It's incredibly upsetting, like if you know what it's about.
Yeah,
I think it's really good.
Yeah, it's also well worth noting that, like, I think had it gone on for like 2 or 3 minutes, its impact would have been dented. So it's nice and concise and how it fits and how it feels.
I agree.
Bad Boy, probably my least.
Bad Way.
What did I write?
Bad Way. It's Bad Way. You said Bad Boy.
Yeah, I wrote Bad Boy. I don't know why I wrote Bad Boy. That's weird. Bad Way, one of my least favorite tracks on the album. So much so that I just got its name wrong. The opening melody does little for me, and the energy uptick is just all right. It does get a bit better once it heavies up a bit, but if I'm honest, this one's a little boring. The only shining light in it for me is the atmospheric melody that comes in at the final 40 odd seconds. So right at the end of this track, there's this really, really lovely, light, atmospheric melody that drips through the track. And I was like, shit, that's really good. Oh, man. The rest of the track just didn't do much for me.
Yeah, I completely disagree. It's like my favorite Hellions song of all time.
Really?
Yeah, I really think I love the lyrics, the really super fast flow, like almost rap, and the chorus is fantastic. It's like the sort of song I kind of want to scream along to. I wrote, they better play it live whenever they come to the UK, because if they don't, I'm going to be very upset with them.
To be honest, we'll interject this now by saying this is a band neither of us have had the chance to see live. They last played this country. You couldn't come because you were underage.
We had tickets 2 times. The first time you were ill and we couldn't go, and the second time they changed venues to somewhere that was over 18.
Yep, exactly that. So we are now waiting hungrily for Hellions, because I think they're one of the few bucket list bands I've still got left to see. I would very much like him to play Opera Oblivia and Rue in just full, please, just back to back. That's all you got to do. Just do those 2 albums. They're like 35 minutes long each. It's okay.
Yeah, that could be reasonable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so look forward to that. A Nightliner Rhapsody. Fucking A. This is what I'm talking about. Punky energy, fire in the belly, some really nasty sounding riffs, and once again, a killer and very catchy chorus. I love this track. Like, this was one I'd kind of forgotten about to a degree. As soon as it starts playing, I'm like, oh yeah, of course, it's this track. But again, normally I don't go to this one. I'm like, why am I not listening to this one regularly? It's brilliant.
I think it's a very, very good song, but I think it is hard to follow off of Bad Way for me.
Right.
I really like the beatdown sections. That super like punky-esque heavy riffs. The chorus is, of course, fantastic, as it tends to be the theme with this album and this band. I just think it struggles to follow Bad Way for me.
So that's the difference there, right? So for Bad Way for me wasn't that interesting. This following it was a blinder, because of course, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We are at the penultimate track though, Nuestra Culpa. And for me, I wrote Stupid Hellions, making me want to cry in this one. Simply put, how beautiful is this? And how well placed is it? With what came before and what comes after, this is perfectly placed in the album. The vocals are phenomenal here. The soft crooning, the spoken word shouts, the piano melody and atmosphere. This is a very powerful track.
I said it was quite reminiscent of old Hellions, because I had a lot of this sort of thing on some of the earlier work, but find it's a bit of a skip for me if I'm listening to the album. I think the ending track does what this is trying to do. 25 does for me.
Right, I actually agree with you. This is a skipper for me also for a specific reason though. When I listen to Hellions, I tend to put them on because I'm in a really good mood and I really want that G up energy. So I tend to gravitate towards the Hellion songs that have that bum, 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 you know, not the, you know, although it's a beautiful song, I don't want that for my Hellions. I want my energy. And this ain't giving me that.
Yeah.
Which brings us to 25. There were 2 tracks I heard of Hellions first. One of them already mentioned, Thresher. And then there was a second that turned me into a fan of theirs. This was it. Smile, my favorite Hellions track, but Smile, you know, change that. This is one of the best tracks they've ever produced. I fucking love the energy of this one. It is insanely catchy. The rhythm is pure grin-inducing. The vocals are really punchy and the lyrical content just hits me so right. And that stupidly great chorus. This is a track that I would kill to see live. Lines like "You're as beautiful as the day you were born." I mean, come on, God.
It's super like heartwarming and feel good, and it's a really nice like ending. It's not sad or depressing. It's a sense of good message. It's the same with Smile. It sends a really nice message, which music kind of sometimes needs.
Exactly.
There's so much doom and gloom, and this is just nice. It's a great song with the theming of the numbers at the start of each album as he goes through like each year of his life. Is a really nice end to the album, with 24 being the intro. It's a fucking anthem, you know. The drawn back bridge with the like reprisal chorus is really, really cool, and it's a great track.
It is. We can't recommend it enough. And that's Opera Oblivia. So you know what comes next, of course? As we always do, you must choose 3 tracks that are your favorite / recommendation for people to check out. So I'll throw off my 3. In my opinion, I would suggest people listen to Thresher and 25. Those are 2 straight away. But a third one of many others it could be, I ended up going with Nightliner Rhapsody.
I would go with, as the complete opposite, I'd go with Lotus Eats a Bad Way in 25.
Interesting. But see, this is the difficulty about an album that's this good or this loved or this strong in our opinion. When I like, there are so, like, it's so close at that. Like 25's probably, because in 25's the one we both agree on. I think that's probably top of the pile. But very easily, you know, I would want to throw in something like Quality of Life into that potentially, or 24 itself. There's so many. It's more anthemic songs than none. There are no bad tracks in this. That's super important. There's just 1 or 2 that I think, oh yeah, that's good, not great. But man, that's me being judgy. That's me treating those songs unfairly because they're surrounded by such quality. If they were standalone singles, I'd be like, oh my fucking God, that's the best thing ever. But because they're on this album, which is just, you know, it's just, it really, really, it does, you know, cause these questions around them more than anything else.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
It is an incredible album. We do urge you to check it out. And of course, if you've got any thoughts and opinions, do agree with us. Do you think we're speaking too highly of this album? You know what to do. Let us know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?